Let's visit the 90s all over again. Put on those hammer pants. This is Dope Nostalgia.
Welcome to Dope Nostalgia Podcast. I'm your host, Naomi, and this is episode 245. Celebrating a very special anniversary today. It's hard to believe it's been 30 years this week since the release of the song Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio. A huge hit, one of the biggest songs in the history of rap. And today we're going to be talking to the co-writer and producer of Gangsta's Paradise. Doug Rasheed is on the show. Before we get to that, here's some background information on Gangsta's Paradise.
Wikipedia moments.
Please bear in mind that Wikipedia can be edited by anyone at any time. If I am reading you the artist's bio, then you know it's information straight from the source.
Gangsta's Paradise is a single by American rapper Coolio, released on August 1st, 1995 by Tommy Boy, Warner Brothers, and MCA Records. Interpolating Stevie Wonder's song Pastime Paradise from 1976, Gangsta's Paradise features vocals from American singer LV, who served as a co-composer and co-lyricist with Coolio and Doug Rasheed, with Stevie Wonder also being credited for composition and lyrics. Certified platinum in October, the song was included on Coolio's second album, Gangsta's Paradise, in November of '95. Its music video was directed by Antoine Fuqua and featured Michelle Pfeiffer. The song is taken from Pfeiffer's movie Dangerous Minds, and the music video is also themed around the movie. The song was the top-selling single of 1995 on the Billboard Hot 100 and the first rap single ever to go straight to number one in Britain. In 2008, it was ranked number 38 on VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of Hip Hop. NME listed the song at number 100 in their ranking of 100 best songs of the 90s. And Billboard magazine ranked it among the 500 best pop songs of all time in 2023. Coolio was awarded a Grammy for Best Rap Solo Performance, 2 MTV Video Music Awards for Best Rap Video, and Best Video from a Film, and a Billboard Music Award for the song. Unfortunately, Coolio left us in 2023 and isn't here to celebrate this with us, but in his memory, we want to commemorate the 30th anniversary of Gangsta's Paradise with our very special guest today, the co-writer, co-composer, and producer of this legendary rap hit. Please welcome Doug Rasheed to Dope Nostalgia. So to start, Doug, this is Dope Nostalgia. Doug Rasheed is here with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. And we're here to celebrate the 30th anniversary of one of the greatest rap songs of all time.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We're also going to talk about your other projects today, too. But to kick things off, I wanted to ask, how did you develop your skills in production in your early days?
In the early days, I was always, I was inspired by my parents. My dad's a musician and my mom sings. And so they were into music. I was around it all of my life. And so that inspired me. But how I really got into music production is interesting because I played in bands. I'm a bass player. So I was always playing in bands and I was also running the streets. So when the streets got to be too much, I had to kind of get out of here. So I ended up kind of living in Tokyo, Japan for a couple of years, and I was playing in a band there. Changed my life because it just gave me a different perspective. But while I was there, I just passed the time by like making beats on this little sampler, and I fell in love with it. By the time I got back, my mind frame was, let's get serious about life, get out of the streets, and get into something that can be, prosperous. So I really just started focusing on learning how to produce at that point. And this was right around in the early 90s.
Yeah. How did you get your feet wet with different artists here in America?
What I did was I grew up in San Diego, which is like the stepchild to LA. So, I was wanting to get into the music business, so I moved there and came up with a plan to get a job at either a recording studio or at a movie studio so I could kind of be around the industry. It just worked out really well. I got a job up at Sony Pictures and I ended up meeting Paul Stewart, who is mentioned on This Is How We Do It with Montell Jordan. He's talking about a little DJ and Paul was his name. Well, Paul was managing Coolio and he was managing Montell Jordan and a bunch of other groups at the time. And I was a security guard at the gate. So I just started, to just give him music and trying to get in, and I ended up liking some of the music. So I started working with his groups. And the first group that came out was YNV. They had a song called Chocolate. It didn't blow up, but it made a little noise and got me a little bit of attention. And eventually I ended up working with Coolio.
Yeah.
And Montell Jordan as well and some others.
Yeah, no, your credit list is awesome. I already have a few questions lined up about that. Now, when we're talking today about Gangsta's Paradise, of course,
Right.
the song is the definition of a true hip hop classic. And when you speak about like longevity, this is it. This is it. This is a song that people know all the words. I know it's the first rap song I knew absolutely every word to as a teenager. So you're a co-writer, you're a producer.
Co-writer. I composed the music. Coolio wrote his own lyrics. I did the music. Of course, I sampled Stevie Wonder, but I also added a lot of original music to it and the beat. I arranged the choir and sang that to LV. And so we kind of put the thing together.
Tell me about the early development of the song and how you incorporated Stevie Wonder's Pastime Paradise into it.
That came about with me and Paul. We leased a house because we wanted to kind of be seen as ballers and insiders in the game, up and comers in LA. And so we leased this big mansion and really just we took a big chance. We gonna make it or break it, get rich or die trying kind of thing, And so we got the house. We were throwing parties and doing all kind of stuff there, he's a DJ and I have a record collection. So we both music lovers. We pull out samples and see who could come up with the dopest sample and then I would flip it. And on this particular challenge, I went and reached out and pulled out the Stevie Wonder record. And I knew I had him that day when I pulled out that Pastime Paradise sample. I took it and I chopped it and I flipped it and I played it. And he's like, oh yeah, you that's it. This is something special. We knew we had something special with it. So I just went ahead and finished the production on the beat.
Did you know Coolio before working on the song?
Yeah, by that time I had already worked with YNV and Montell Jordan, and we had been living we'd been working together for a couple of years by that time, and I actually did a song with Coolio on his first album. It Takes a Thief. The song was called Ugly Bitches, and I just did the production on that. But that up to that point. We hadn't had anything that was released that was a hit with Coolio like that. So
now I understand that when Stevie Wonder was approached about using his sample, that he didn't want any profanity.
That's right. He basically said no. I don't know if he said hell no, but it felt like he said hell no because it was like, nah, it was a resounding no. And we were trying to get back, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And about a week or so goes by, and I'm thinking he just doesn't want us to use the sample. Finally, he responds back and says, I don't want any sample. I don't want any cursing. I don't want any violence. So we said, wow, we wiped the sweat off. Coolio went back to the drawing board. And when he rewrote the lyrics, he wrote it so well. I don't even remember what the curse words were or the violence. I mean, he did such a good job with the lyrics. And then he came back. We redid the vocals. We were still on the demo, of course, at this time. And, we turned it in and it was approved.
Men spending most their lives living
remembrance of ignorance, so dispraise. Tell me who of them will come to be? How many of them are you and me?
You know, it's really brilliant, the lyrics. It's, you know, and to be able to write something with such depth and thought without having any profanity is quite a talent.
Yes, it is. To me, it's kind of almost like I look at it almost like the rapper's delight of its era. You know, like with that rapper's delight, everybody knew the song. There were no curse words. It's really kind of pop. You know, which is like me. I like hip hop. I like rap and underground and hip hop, real authentic. But this Gangsta's Paradise to me is more of a pop record, just like the rapper's delight. So it is brilliant in a sense that it's able to reach. And I say pop, not in the sense that it's corny. I don't think it's corny. I mean,
No.
personally, maybe that's everybody's up there has their own opinion, but I just think it had a far-reaching quality to it. Ages and races, every country. I mean, the song was number one in basically every country.
Mass appeal.
Yes.
What studio were you working in this song? Is it the one in the house that you rented? Did you make a studio
No,
there?
we did the demo there. Yeah, I had my studio in the house there, and I did all my demo work, which I still do, and I'm actually in my studio lounge now in my house. This is the lounge in my basement. But we ended up recording the studio at two different places. We were at Larrabee Sound Studio to record the music, and we actually recorded Coolio's vocals. And then we recorded LV's choir vocals. But LV's vocals at Larrabee was so clean, it just took all of the rawness out of it. So I ended up having to go back to the sample. I sampled the vocals that he did at the house, the choir. And we weren't going to use them because there's too much room noise. It wasn't a professional setting. And but when I added them back in and mixed them with the studio vocals, it took that pristine sound that we hated and made it raw again, but it also made it sound like a mass choir, and it added some overtones, some notes that weren't even there that you can hear clearly on the record. So it was real special when we did that. And we ended up doing the final mix at Encore Studios.
Okay. Now, sorry, for the choir, I wanted to ask about the choir, if you actually got a choir into the studio, or was it what you just described? Was it just like
It was LV. Yeah, it was all
whole
LV.
thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because it sounds like a big choir, but it didn't have that sound until I blended the two recordings, with the clean one, pristine sounding one at Larrabee, and then the demo choir from the house. It's basically just 3-part harmony stacked twice, and that's it.
You just blew my mind.
It does. Sometimes you stumble on some things and it works out. And that overtone, that high note that's in there, we all heard it. We're like, what's that? Oh, that's nice. I actually had a girl come in. She actually flew in from San Diego to sing it because I'm like, we got to put this in there. We had her come all the way in from San Diego. She starts singing the note. It doesn't work. We ended up having to take her out and just let that overtone ride where it's at on its own. I call it a ghost note.
Yeah.
They joined in.
Are there any other versions of the song out there that were remixes or anything like that?
There's tons of them. Ella Henderson just did a platinum. Let's see, a platinum in the UK a version where she sampled the song, and it's Ella Henderson featuring Rudimental. I had never heard of them, but I guess they're pretty big. But yeah, that went platinum last year, and I actually got an award coming for that for BMI. But there's tons. I mean, it's been sampled by Slim Thug, Gunna, Busta Rhymes, who did clear it, by the way. And if you see this interview, Busta, you need to get at me. It's been sampled a whole lot of times, and and then I mean, there's even classical versions, with chamber orchestra versions of the song as well.
Tell me about the day you found out it hit #1.
That was a good day,
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. once it came out, because it was featured in the film Dangerous Minds, and so I believe they put a lot behind it as well because they were pushing the film. But once that thing dropped, I mean, the first week it was getting ads faster than I had ever seen any song get ads. I mean, nationwide, everywhere it went, it was getting added. So they say that the record has legs. That's what they say in the industry. So it just had legs. I believed it was gonna do very well, but the funny thing about it is the week that we expected it to go #1, Michael Jackson dropped "You Are Not the One" or "You're Not Alone," and for the first time in the history of the Hot 100 singles chart, it came in at #1. No song had ever done that. And I'm like, oh man, this is my week, and here's Michael Jackson and R. Kelly with this song, because R. Kelly wrote and produced the song, and it went #1. And I said, it's over. You're not beating Michael Jackson. But a week later, we were able to surpass him and stayed for about 3 weeks, I think, in the U.S. And then it swept #1 across the world.
Oh, what an incredible accomplishment.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm blessed for that, for sure.
I know we mentioned some covers earlier, but the big one I was thinking of is Weird Al Yankovic and his Amish Paradise.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of funny stories behind that. We can't get into all of them, but that was a great cover, I thought. Initially, Coolio, he didn't make any, it wasn't a secret that he didn't like it at first. And so he would not approve it. And even though it's a parody, it doesn't need approval. Weird Al, being the guy that he is, he wanted to have the blessing. And Coolio was like, no. So they reached out to me. And I was like, yeah. And so, that's how it actually got done, and eventually Coolio warmed to it.
It's an honor. Weird Al.
That's how I felt. Yeah, for sure. I did.
And he always does such a great job too. He still pays service to the song.
Yes, he does.
As I walk through the valley where I harvest my grain, I take a look at my wife and realize she's very plain. But that's just perfect for an Amish like me. I shun fancy things like electricity. At 4:30 in the morning I'm milking cows. Jebediah feeds the chickens and Jacob plows. Fool, and I've been milking and plowing so long that even Ezekiel thinks that my mind is gone. I'm a man of the land, I'm into discipline. Got a Bible in my hand and a beard on my chin. But if I finish all of my chores and you finish thine, then tonight we're gonna party like it's 1699. We've been spending most our lives living in an Amish paradise. I churn butter once or twice, living in an Amish paradise. It's hard work and sacrifice, living in an Amish paradise. We sell quilts at discount price, living in an Amish paradise.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi. If you enjoy Dope Nostalgia, thank you. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber today for as little as $1 a month. It helps keep the show on the air and rolling. So if you want to check out our Patreon, it's at patreon.com/dope nostalgia. $1 a month, and you'll be helping support one of your favorite podcasts.
What's up, party people? This is DC, the brain supreme of Tag Team. You're listening to the Dopeness Nostalgia Podcast. Whoop! There it is. Peace. Sprinkles!
Hi. Have you ever heard a classic song and thought to yourself, why on earth was this popular? What's a Sussudio or a Luftballon? What does it mean to Wang Chung or to Tub Thumb? Where did Cotton Eye Joe come from? Well, there's a podcast for that. You Wanted a Hit is a podcast about unlikely, perplexing, and positively bizarre hit songs. Each episode, we explore the backstory, creation, and success of one unlikely smash hit. We have a blast along the way with hilarious stories, interesting special guests, and often mind-blowing bits of music history. To join the fun, check out You Wanted a Hit wherever you get your podcasts.
It had to be you.
You eat it with a fork. I can eat one whole box by myself. Delicious. good. Mega, 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 mega good. I could eat it, the whole thing up.
There's only one Kraft Dinner made with lots of real Kraft cheddar. Kraft Dinner, the one kids love best.
Wonderful you.
It's all gone.
I understand that LV even released a solo version on his own record.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, it was initially because LV was under the same management with Paul Stewart at the time. But at the time when we were working on it, LV didn't have a record deal. Coolio had a deal, and who else? I think by then YNV had their deal, and I guess Montell had already had his record deal and had his hit with "This Is How We Do It." Mm-hmm. But Coolio had a deal, LV didn't. So we started out working on it together. Me and LV, we were in there working on the song, and he had already recorded the hook and the choir, and we were having one of our many get-togethers, little parties, and Coolio showed up at the door, and when he came in, my studio's like right there as you walk in. So when he came in, he's like, "Oh man, what's that? You did that?" I said, "Yeah, that's me." He said, "Man, I need that. I want that." I looked at LV. LV looked at me. He looked at Coolio. He was like, "Yes," because we knew he was about to do his new album anyway. And he already had a deal, so we looked at it as an opportunity for us to get on something that was going to have some real backing, rather than LV, just trying to get a record deal. But he ended up getting signed, behind it as well.
Yeah.
Just a minute and I can tell you about the things that don't need to be. Here we are at the place where it all began. People, can't you see? Thought you knew about the west side, east side, G's on the creep, Only living for the day, never worried about tomorrow. Always tripping, now we're slipping. Ladies bitching, babies missing from the evils of the world. Been spending most of their lives living in the gangsta's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangsta's paradise.
What's a fond memory you have of Coolio?
Oh, there's a lot, Coolio was very pleasant, funny, just a funny guy, great sense of humor, a lot of positive energy, kind of quiet and reserved, interestingly enough, but he was just a fun to be around, when we were all at the house and when they were on the road and went out, I'll tell you a funny story. Not that funny, really. We were in Houston and they were doing a show with Coolio, Montell Jordan. I think YNV was on there. And so we pulled up at the front and Coolio had his gun with him. And he put it on when the police showed up. And they start, harassing us, telling everybody, "Move your cars." And Texas, they get pretty raunchy out there. So they were disrespecting us and telling us to move out of the way. And I think Coolio had a couple words. And I looked at Coolio, I said, "Yo," and I looked down because the gun's on the floor. And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't want to start nothing, And he said, "Oh, yeah." So, I had to kind of kick it under the seat and close the door and just said, "Hey, I got it. I'll move the car." But, there's a lot, but basically, Coolio was a very, very, very nice, kind of cool guy to be around,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, this being the 30th anniversary of Gangsta's Paradise, how are you commemorating the song?
Well, I'm doing a lot of interviews, so I mean that's nice. Gives me an opportunity to plug my book. My book is due to be published here this fall. Independently on my own platform, which is madcastlemedia.com. It's MAD Castle Media.
I'll make sure I share the link.
Yeah, and the book is called From Rags to Gangsta's Paradise.
This is exciting, and it's coming out this fall.
Yeah, yeah. It took me about 12 years to write it. And it's interesting is that it's ready. I just finished it about 2 months ago. So it's just got ready.
Good. I can't wait to share the link and get everybody hooked up with it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What are some of the other musicians you've worked at who are the greatest players?
Well, I'd have to start with Tupac. You see this plaque right behind me, and there's another big one. You can barely see it in the corner, but it's that's the big one up there that's kind of the world one. It shows that the record is diamond. But Tupac is has to be at the top of my list. And I probably learned more from him than anybody else. But I've worked with some really big names: Whitney Houston, Brandy, LL Cool J, Barry White. Who else we got here? Some foreign artists that I hadn't even heard of, but that clearly were big in the world. Franz Gall, Sting. I did some work with Sting, the Bee Gees, David Foster, a lot of big names, and it's been an interesting journey.
It's a beautiful list.
Yeah.
Whitney Houston. What was working with her all about? What was that like?
That was more of a studio. Her voice was already recorded, so we weren't in the studio together. The story behind that was Clive Davis, who was doing the soundtrack for The Preacher's Wife, called me on the cell phone and said, "I need you to go in the studio." And he knew exactly what to say. "I need you to go do that thing that you and Dr. Dre do out there on the West Coast." I'm like, "Oh, okay, you putting me in the same breath with Dre, okay?" Which I definitely was flattered by that. But he was just kind of in a jam. He needed the record done by the morning, and it was being produced by Ricky Minor and Whitney Houston. And he had done some work on it, but I guess there was the problem was getting the rhythm section and the bass and all that to sound good. So I went in and laid it down and then overnight and got it mixed and had it turned in the morning.
Fantastic. That's a situation in a lot of cases, right? Where you already have the vocals and you're going to be mixing them up. And
yeah.
And how many times did you work in the studio with Montell Jordan?
We did 2 songs together on his first album, This How We Do It album. One was called Payback, which was featured Coolio on it. And what was the other song? Something for the Honeys, which for everybody knows the great gold single. There's a story behind that, but it's lengthy.
I hope, well, we're going to read probably a lot of this in the autobiography as well.
Oh yeah, it's all in there. All the dirty details are in there.
What did you do
about the music business? You're gonna run into some stuff. So one of the things I wanted to do with the book and why it took me so long to write it is because it's difficult sometimes to write about the nasty stuff, the stuff that people, but that's kind of like a lot of times what people want to know, or hey, this is what happened and this is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to get that across tastefully and
yes. Stay tastefully but bluntly. Like, I'm not pulling any punches, not even with myself. I don't come from a pristine background. I talk about my life, where I was at before I got in the game and all of that. So, I think if you're going to be honest, tell the whole thing, tell it all.
People need to hear it.
They do. Yeah. It's a caution in some ways to some of the young guys.
Yeah.
Gotta come up and get in the game, and what to really look for to make sure you don't end up getting jerked around. And even when there's still a very good chance that you can still run into a lot of mess. Sometimes you can end up, having to sue somebody or somebody's gonna rip you off. It can happen.
Well, it's important not only as a cautionary tale, but to inspire young people that think that there's no future for them. There is one.
Yep. That's my intent.
Yeah. New Edition. What did you work on for them?
Well, they're featured on the same record with Whitney Houston. So I didn't work in the studio with them either. They're on the song. The song actually I did with Whitney Houston is Somebody Bigger Than You and I. It's from The Preacher's Wife. And so that song is Whitney Houston featuring New Edition with all of them. So it's got Bobby Brown, Johnny Gill, and the entire group.
Now,
yeah, so it was fun. I mean, I was disappointed not to be able to work with them in the studio, but it was still fun to be able to work on the master with their vocals on it.
What a feeling.
Oh, it was great. I enjoyed it.
Are there any collaborations you'd like to make or any new artists that you want to record?
New young artists. Too many to name. I mean, I like a lot of the young artists that they have now. A lot of people in my age group, they don't like the new music. There was a period when I didn't, but it's coming around now. So it's hard to name. I mean, it's just too many to name. I like a lot of the new artists that are out now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd love to tell everyone about your scholarship foundation and how it came to be and how people can get involved.
I'm married into that. That's my wife. My wife's baby. My wife, Tanya Rivens Rasheed, is a award-winning journalist here in Charlotte. I met her here in Charlotte when I moved here, and we ended up getting married. But she had started that foundation, and we run it together now. But it's been around almost 20 years, and we do scholarships for. Her grandfather was a barber. And so she wanted to continue his legacy and stuff. So we have a commercial building that has a barbershop in there. It stands on the ground where he actually had his barbershop way back in the day. He was the first barber, one of the first black barbers in that area back in the day. So there's a lot of legacy. My wife's big on legacy. So she started the foundation, and we kind of take it to the next level. We do a lot too, not just scholarships. We do scholarships for young kids that are going through barber school and different what do you call it for women? Not cosmetology, hair. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Hair school.
Yes, hairdresser school.
Hairdresser, yeah, that type of stuff. But and the scholarships are great, but we also do a lot of food bank giveaways and stuff like that. We'll get a lot of food from grocery stores, mainly Food Lion out here in the South. Will give us pallets of it, and we'll put it out. And people if you need food, you can come get it, and it's free. And we have also food pantry that we keep stock for people in the community. And we do a free concert every year. She started doing that. We're doing our 19th annual this year here in Charlotte, and it's every year. Big names, God, it's a gospel event. That's a gospel event, and we usually have our main headliner is always Pastor John P. Key, but we also have had Shirley Caesar and lots of big names. I'm not sure who she's going to have this year, but it gets bigger every year.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, what's a track you've worked on that should have been a monster hit? Like one of your deep cuts, something you're like, yes, everybody needs to know this song.
I have to say, I would have to say, is a group that, you mean something that was released or something that didn't come out? Something in the archive?
Released.
Something that was released that I think should have been a big hit. Whew. I think Only God Can Judge Me from Tupac, which before Pac died, he told me he wanted it to be his third single. So we were, but he was murdered before he could do the radio version. And, of course, after that, it's just, it's just an album cut. Whatever videos were done, that's it. So I think it would have been a monster. It's still a monster song, underground classic or album cut classic. Along with I'd Rather Be N-I-G-G-A. Those are both my tracks. I think either one of those would have been big records had they been done in radio versions like he did with all of his singles.
Only God can judge me. That right? Only God, baby. Nobody else. All you other motherfuckers, get out of my business. Really? Perhaps I was blind to the facts. Stabbed in the back, I couldn't trust my own homies. Just a bunch of dirty facts. Will I succeed? Paranoid from the weed. And hocus pocus, try to focus, but I can't see. And in my mind, I'm a blind man doing time. Look to my future, cause my past is all behind me. Is it a crime to fight for what is mine? Everybody's dying, tell me what's the use in trying? I've been trapped since birth. Cautious, cause I'm cursed. And fantasies of my family in the hearse. And they say it's the white man I fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here. I can't lie, ain't no love for the other side. Jealousy inside, make them wish I died. Oh my Lord, tell me what I'm living for. Everybody's dropping, got me knocking on heaven's door. And all my memories of seeing brothers bleed.
Two monster rappers, very important legends you got to work with, gone too soon.
Yes. And what died with him was more than just himself. And, you know, his music, of course, lives on. But I mean, the things that we had planned, I mean, it was going to be a monster. His label, Euthanasia Records, that he wanted to do. And, you know, he'd asked me to work with him. Of course, I said, yeah. There was a lot of things that he wanted to do, and then we were gonna bring to the forefront. If he had lived, I think it would have ended up being films, music, everything. Just like what Snoop is doing now with Death Row Records and Death Row Films. I think we definitely would have been doing all of that.
Well, Doug, this is a really exciting week, and I'm really happy to share all the great stories and memories with all of our listeners. What else can we look forward to from you coming up?
Well, other than the book, I also work with I became an author, trying to teach myself how to write. Ended up falling in love with it. So I co-wrote a book about a guy named James Slim Bowler. You can watch episode 6 of Michael Jordan's The Last Dance if you like to know who he is. Okay, he's the golf hustler that Michael Jordan was hooked up with when he had to go to get on the stand during his trial back in the 90s. And James was a very good friend of mine. His book is called I Bet on Air and Lost It All. I also developed a screenplay for a film that is, I ain't going to say who, but it's currently being considered to be made into a film right now.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that because his story is, I mean, it's just a dope story. I mean, it's a black golf hustler back in the day where it's very difficult for a black man to get on, you know, the golf tours, you know, the PGA tours and things like that. So he turned to hustling by gambling, which everybody in golf knows gambling is part of it. You know, it's everybody that plays golf is pretty much betting on the golf course, you know, for the most part. And so that's how he made a living. And he was so good at it, he made a ton of money. And without spoiling the story, he ended up going to prison because of the fact that he was just making a ton of money, if you ask me. You know, you got to read the book if you want to know the details. But his book is available on Amazon. I Bet on Air and Lost It All. Hopefully the screenplay will be made into a film or series coming up here within the next year. And I think it's going to be a hit.
This is so exciting. All these great projects happening right now. And Doug, you are such an incredible person and you've really inspired me.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on.
Great energy. I loved it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You want to tell me what this is all about?
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lined in chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light.
Been staying most of their lives, living in the gangsta's paradise. We've been spending most of their lives, living in the gangsta's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives, living in the gangsta's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives, living in the gangsta's paradise.
Look at the situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the state, so I gotta be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my 10 in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I'm a loped out gangster, set tripping banker. And my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Fool, death ain't nothing but a heartbeat away. I'm living life, do or die. What can I say? I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things is going, I don't know.
Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangsta's paradise. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangsta's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangsta's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangsta's paradise.
Power and the money, money and the power. Minute after minute, hour after hour, everybody's running, but half of them ain't looking what's going on in the kitchen. But I don't know what's cooking. They say I got to learn, but nobody's here to teach me. If they can't understand it, how can they reach me? I guess they can't, I guess they won't, I guess they front. That's why I know my life is out of luck, fool.
We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangsta's paradise. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangsta's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangsta's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangsta's paradise. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me?
You can follow Dope Nostalgia on Instagram at dope_nostalgia and YouTube at Dope Nostalgia Podcast. Call and leave a message on our voicemail toll free. The number's 1-888-741-9192.
This podcast is licensed by SOCAN because we believe that artists should be paid for their work. Hey friends, I kind of miss getting those messages on my answering machine like we used to back in the day. What I'd really love is to hear from you, the listeners of Dope Nostalgia. This is your chance to be on the show, giving feedback, telling us what you love, what you hate, and who you'd like to see more of. Call us at our new toll-free number, 1-888-741-9192. Leave us some feedback. Your message could be played on the show. So give us a call, 1-888-741-9192. Toll-free.